The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, January 14 indicate the proverbial poop is about to hit the fan in Genoa City. First off, it looks like Ian Ward's plans for Sharon Newman will take a terrible turn. Right now, poor Sharon is chained up somewhere in a sewage basement, desperate to get out. Her food and water rations are getting low, so is there any hope that she can escape or get rescued? Ian seems to believe that Sharon is already a goner, so will he find out she is alive and take matters into his own hands? Across town, and our spoilers for Tuesday's show note that Nick Newman will have a theory about Sharon's disappearance, and he'll share it with Chancellor. Chance wants to do all he can to bring Sharon home safely, just like Nick, so between the both of them, can they make this happen? Nick likely believes Ian is behind Sharon's disappearance, but is there any way to prove it at this point? Lastly, it looks like Chelsea Lawson and Victoria Newman will have a little catch-up and realize they have more in common than they initially believed. One thing they do share is having Billy Abbott as an ex, not to mention maternal ties to Johnny Abbott. So what has them landing on the same page during Tuesday's show? Could Chelsea confide in Victoria about her mixed emotions for Adam Newman, or possibly that she's thinking of moving to the Newman Ranch for Connor Newman's sake? Victoria did all she could to help Claire Newman along her mental health road to recovery when she first came to Genoa City, so perhaps she can offer Chelsea some sort of insight when it comes to Connor. The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that Chelsea has quite the decision in front of her, as she promised Adam she'd consider moving in with him and Connor at the ranch. But will she end up going through this, and what kind of repercussions will she face when it's just her, Adam, and Connor living under the same roof? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, January 13, 2025 are here. In the next episode, fans can expect Adam Newman to talk to Chelsea Lawson about Connor Newman's healing. Claire Grace Newman tries confronting Jordan. Next on The Young and the Restless. Plus, Sharon Newman sees something that could help, but it's just barely out of her reach. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Connor Newman's healing. And our spoilers for Monday, January 13 reveal that Adam will once again talk to Chelsea about living together as a family. Even though Adam and Chelsea are not together, they do work as a team for their son, Connor. With Connor battling obsessive-compulsive disorder, the boy has gone through quite the ordeal. Now, with coping strategies and understanding his triggers, Connor is doing much better. And our spoilers. Adam Newman's request. Adam will talk to Chelsea about moving into the ranch with Connor. Adam will tell Chelsea that it will help with Connor's healing. Of course, how can Chelsea say no when Adam uses their son's mental health as a reason? The Young and the Restless spoilers. Jordan Howard as Claire Grace Newman. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, January 13 reveal that Jordan will still be at the coffee shop. Jordan was sitting there when she heard Claire's voice. Jordan took a big risk and went up to the counter after Claire was done. Jordan placed her tea order, which is very specific. This is how Claire knew that it must be Jordan. In fact, in a preview clip, Claire comes behind Jordan and says her name. Jordan hears Claire, but just ignores her and walks out. It doesn't look like Claire follows her. While Claire knows that sounds like Jordan, and that's her tea order, she won't believe it. After all, Jordan is supposed to still be in prison. Claire will tell Nikki Newman about it. When Claire mentions that the order was how Jordan always took her tea, Nikki might mention it to Victor Newman. It would be like Victor to check and just make sure Jordan is still behind bars. So that could lead everyone to realize that Jordan and Ian Ward are working together. Remember, it was mentioned recently that Jordan and Ian are a lot alike. By and are spoilers. Monday, January 13, 2025. Fans will also see Sharon continue trying to get out of her situation. Sharon spots what appears to be a crowbar in the corner. Sharon tries to reach for it, but it's just a few inches too far away. Could Sharon find some other item that will help her drag the crowbar closer to her? While Sharon might use the tool to get free, it could also be used to stop Jordan dead in her tracks. The Young and the Restless scoop for Monday, January 13, reveals Summer Newman won't like what Chance Chancellor is insinuating. Also coming up, Nate Hastings will hear from his half-brother. Plus, Connor Newman wants Chelsea Lawson to live at the ranch. And Claire Newman and Kyle Abbott will tell his son they're getting closer. I and our spoilers tease Nate and Audra Charles will discuss his half-brother. He hopes he'll hear from Damian King. Nate will also say he wishes he listened to Audra's advice and told him the truth. But later, he'll get a text from Damian, who plans to come to Genoa City. My and our daily scoop. It doesn't mean they're getting back together. Then Nate will get 2 more texts. Audra will ask him if Damian's changed his mind. But Nate will say the texts were from Denise Tolliver. She did more digging and learned the owner of the properties and the businesses is none other than Damian himself. At Crimson Lights, Connor will tell Adam he's been having trouble sleeping due to a light switch in his bedroom. Adam will say they knew there'd be some challenging moments, but Connor, you got this. Then he and Chelsea will ask if something triggered it. I know, but I just don't want to tell you, he'll reply, because I know you're not gonna like it. So he'll say he's anxious about Adam moving. I'll be out in the country, more isolated. But Adam will assure his son there will be lots of Newmans around, not to mention a security team. Chelsea will say he doesn't have to move there if he doesn't want to. Adam will add he'll call and cancel the move. But Connor will say he needs to face the things that scare him. And there's something that would make things easier for him if Mom moved to the ranch too. Connor will point out it's a big house and she'd have her own room. Adam will tell him he and Chelsea need to discuss it themselves, so he'll go upstairs. I think what he's asking makes a lot of sense, Adam will tell her. He'll point out they're crammed in a little apartment upstairs and Connor asked for this. But Chelsea will say she'll think about it. She'll also make it clear that if she does move in, it doesn't mean they're getting back together. Young and the Restless scoop. Harrison's happy they're getting close. Meanwhile, Harrison Locke will be thrilled when Summer shows up at the Abbott estate. She'll say they can do anything together. Tonight, it's just me and you, she'll tell her son. He'll read a book to Summer and Claire and Kyle will walk in. They'll say they have something to tell him and Summer will make a face. After she leaves, Kyle will say he and Claire have gotten pretty close, and he'll ask his son how he feels about that. Happy, but I don't think Mom is, he'll reply. She always acts funny whenever you two are together. Finally, Summer will meet Chance Chancellor for dinner, but she won't be acting like herself. You're not already regretting having dinner with me, are you? He'll ask. Summer will say she's fine, but he'll tell her if something's on her mind, he'd love to listen. So she'll tell him she's really over Claire pushing herself into Kyle and Harrison's lives. They basically just kicked me out of the house so they could have a private conversation with him. Chance will ask what she thinks it's about. I think that they want to tell him they're together now, she'll reply. Chance will say she's always had an issue with Claire. If you ask me, it seems like you're jealous. However, Summer will deny it. She'll say she doesn't like the way Claire's positioned herself in Harrison's life. I see how fast they're moving, and I know it's not going to be long before she moves in with them. However, Chance will tell her it's what happens when people get divorced. But is Chance right? Is Summer jealous of Kyle and Claire's relationship? When Eric Braden returned home, or to the property that was once his home, he didn't go alone. Entertainment Tonight accompanied him. I left as Rogers Park was burning, he said. The fire hadn't jumped the canyon yet. Sadly, jump it did. As the young and restless legend approached his old address, he marveled, "Oh boy, look at that. It's all burned down, man." The Emmy winner had spent 45 years at that residence with his family, and it was all reduced to rubble. Needless to say, Victor's portrayer was deeply affected, more so than even he had anticipated. "I didn't think it would hit me this much," he admitted. "I'm devastated." As Braden looked out at the devastation, he was struck by all the memories. "I don't want my family to see this." Even as he watched the news of what was transpiring, "I never imagined this." Braden went on to recall his son's high school blowouts and the Christmas songs that had been sung at this most special of locations. "I grew up during the Second World War. The destruction was the same. I'd always thought if that hillside there goes aflame, it could easily jump, and it never has in 45 years, and now it did. It's such a feeling of loss, indescribable," he continued. "It leaves you totally disoriented." Braden may have been down, but he was most definitely not out. He expressed his hope that he and his wife would rebuild. "We're getting on in age, but..." Later in the emotional interview, Braden recalled that he looked at some 30 homes in the area before settling on his. "I knew it was the one instantly," he said. Only afterwards did he find out that it had previously belonged to a writer for Seinfeld, one of the shows that I admired the most. Send your condolences to Braden in the comments below. On your way, get a sneak peek at what Young and Restless has in store next week in our new photo gallery. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Massive California wildfire devastates homes, including beloved property of actor Eric Braden. A massive wildfire has swept through California, leaving destruction in its wake and affecting millions of lives. Among those hit hardest by this tragic event is renowned actor Eric Braden, beloved for his iconic role as Victor Newman in The Young and the Restless. While his family's health and safety remain intact, Braden's cherished home, a place filled with memories and milestones, has been reduced to ashes. Eric Braden, an actor celebrated for his strength and resilience on screen, has been deeply shaken by the loss of his family home. This was not just a residence but a place where countless cherished memories were made, a sanctuary that bore witness to milestones, celebrations, and quiet moments of family togetherness. In an emotional statement, Braden expressed his heartbreak, shedding light on the irreplaceable sentimental value of what was lost. "I've lost a piece of my soul," Braden shared through tears. "This home wasn't just walls and a roof. It was where my family and I laughed, cried, and grew together. To see it gone is devastating beyond words." Witnesses described Braden as visibly distraught, his sorrow palpable as he struggles to come to terms with the sudden loss. Safety amidst devastation. Thankfully, Braden and his loved ones escaped the wildfire unharmed, and their health and safety remain intact. This fact brings solace in an otherwise grim situation. However, the emotional toll of losing a lifetime of memories and a place he called home has left Braden in need of time to heal. Friends, colleagues, and fans have rallied around him, offering their support and understanding. Many have taken to social media to express their love for the actor, sharing messages of encouragement and hope. Temporary hiatus from The Young and the Restless. In light of this tragic loss, Eric Braden has announced that he will be taking a temporary leave of absence from The Young and the Restless. This decision, while heartbreaking for fans and the production team, underscores the importance of prioritizing mental health and emotional recovery. Braden's absence will inevitably impact the show, where he has been a cornerstone for decades. His portrayal of Victor Newman has become synonymous with the drama and intrigue of Genoa City, and his temporary departure will leave a noticeable void. However, the cast, crew, and fans alike have emphasized their unwavering support for Braden, urging him to take as much time as he needs to recover. "Eric's health and well-being come first," said a representative from the show. We'll be here for him when he's ready to return and will continue to send him all our love during this difficult time. A message of strength and resilience. While the devastation is overwhelming, Eric Braden's situation also serves as a poignant reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. His ability to prioritize healing, even in the face of professional obligations, reflects the strength he has portrayed on screen for years. Fans have taken to social media to send Braden their condolences and messages of hope. Many have expressed admiration for his decision to focus on his mental health, encouraging him to lean on the support of his family, friends, and fans during this time. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, January 13, promise some interesting moments in the land of Genoa City. Coming up on The Young and the Restless, a character pushes on a mother's guilt to get his way, while another desperately tries to find a way out, and someone is busted. What kind of drama is set to unravel on Monday? Time to dive right in. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Chelsea Lawson's mom guilt. My and our spoilers for Monday, January 13, suggest that Abbott Newman will be more determined than ever to get Chelsea Lawson to move in with him at the ranch. So much so that he'll use her mom guilt against her. Added teasers imply that Adam suggests that if moving in together at the Newman Ranch could potentially help Connor Newman heal, then it should be something they both consider. Read in memory. The Young and the Restless preview week of Jan 13. Jordan recognized Sharon's crowbar, Chelsea's complicated choice. It looks like Adam is pulling out all the stops to make this happen. So there's a good chance that Chatham will move in together with Connor and Tao in the near future. But will this end well? Why and our spoilers, Sharon Newman is desperate to escape. Across town, why and our spoilers for Monday, January 13 indicate that Sharon Newman will continue to think of ways to escape the situation she's in. The Y and R preview for the week of January 13 to 17 shows Sharon trying to think of a way to exit the sewage basement when a black pole in the corner catches her eye. Of course, as she tries to reach for it, she's inches away from grabbing it, thanks to the chains that have her locked up. So will she figure out a way to get to it? Is this her way out? The Young and the Restless spoilers, Jordan Howard is busted. Lastly, Y and R spoilers for Monday suggest that Jordan will be busted at Crimson Lights again. As fans who watched the Friday, January 10 show may recall, Jordan ordered an oolong tea while at the coffee house. Of course, Claire Newman was at Crimson at the same time, so as she was ready to order, Esther Valentine told her to give her a minute as she had an order to deliver to another customer. When Esther announced the oolong tea order, presenting it to Jordan, Claire was immediately startled and ran after Jordan, but wasn't successful in catching up. When Jordan got home to her motel room, she was very upset and thought she had gotten caught. So this is why it's so strange she would return to Crimson so close after this happened. During Monday's show, Jordan will grab another order and fake the server behind the counter. Meanwhile, Claire will be standing a length away from Jordan behind her. As soon as Jordan says, "Thank you," Claire's head will immediately pop up from her phone. She'll recognize that's her aunt's voice, and Claire will call out Jordan's name. Jordan won't even flinch when Claire does this and will try to walk out without turning her head, so she's not seen. Will Claire catch up to her this time around? Is Jordan on the verge of being busted? The Young and the Restless spoilers recently threw out a line about Christian Newman, and some fans were scratching their heads. Who? Young Christian went up to the attic one day to play and was never seen again. That's not entirely true, although it did happen on an infamous episode of All My Children back in the day. The truth is that we haven't seen Christian recently, and so when his name was mentioned, fans perked up. A lot is going on in Genoa City these days, and Christian was referenced in regard to the drama taking place with Sharon Newman. Christian Newman is a young character played by Alex Wilson. We know his father is Nick Newman, but who is his mother on The Young and the Restless? The Young and the Restless spoilers. Who is Christian's mother on The Young and the Restless? On The Young and the Restless, Christian's mother is the late Sage Newman. Sage debuted in 2014 and left in 2016. The character died in a tragic car accident, leaving Christian motherless. Even before he was born, Christian's life was beset by drama. When Sage learned that she was pregnant, she didn't know who the father was. She was married to Nick Newman, but during her marriage, she had a fling with a former BF named Gabriel Bingham. Thus, Sage has no clue as to which man fathered her baby. Nick eventually learned the truth, but he's a good guy, and the couple became co-parents. My and our spoilers. Nick Newman's son Christian. Here's where things get tricky. In a stunning twist, Gabriel returned from the dead. But wait, there's more. He returned to town with a new identity, Adam Newman. Adam was there with Sage for her premature delivery, but sadly the couple were told that the child was stillborn. In an amazing turn, Adam learned that he was the biological father of the baby, not his brother Nick. Are you still with us? Good, because there's more to this story. Later, it was revealed that Christian was alive. The baby who died was Sharon's child, not Sage's. It came to light that an unscrupulous doctor lied about Sharon's miscarriage and swapped her stillborn baby with Christian. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Paternity clues. Sharon went on to name the boy Sully McAvoy. Even after Sage's death, Sharon continued raising Christian as Sully. This drama took yet another scintillating turn when Sharon's husband, Dylan McAvoy, gave Christian to Nick, triggering a custody battle between Adam and Nick. Adam is the biological father, but Nick argued that he was a more responsible parent. In the end, Nick won custody case and raises Christian to this day. Woo! Tristan Lakelebu, who starred as Reed Hellstrom on The Young and the Restless from 2016 to 2020, shared some real devastating news on Instagram. My family lost everything in the fire, he says as he shared a clip on his Instagram stories. The musician/actor created a fundraiser on SpotFund where he details, "My family." Tristan Lakelebu, who starred as Reed Hellstrom on The Young and the Restless from 2016 to 2020, shared some real devastating news on Instagram. My family lost everything in the fire, he says as he shared a clip on his Instagram stories. The musician/actor created a fundraiser on SpotFund where he details, "My family just recently moved to the Palisades. They had just gotten settled when the holidays rolled around. We had the most amazing Christmas in that house. When the news came about the fire starting, we thought that much like all the fires of the past, there was no way our house would be at risk. My family lost everything. All the artwork my dad made his entire life. All the photographs of my childhood. Countless books and records. Motorcycles, furniture, jewelry, the million little things you amass over a lifetime that make up your life and hold so many memories. Unfortunately and unexpectedly gone, left with the clothes on their backs. They have to start fresh. Any little thing helps." At least 5 lives have been claimed by the California wildfire in Los Angeles, with over 100,000 residents evacuating their homes as fires rage in the Palisades, Eden, and Hearst areas, intensified by powerful Santa Ana winds and severe drought conditions. The Young and the Restless star, Eric Braden, lost his home in Will Rogers Park in the Los Angeles wildfires. One of his co-stars, Joshua Morrow, helped him learn his home's fate. Braden, who portrays Victor Newman on Y&R, told Local 3 News he'd lived in his home for 45 years. Joshua Morrow, who plays my son on The Young and the Restless, actually broke through some barriers, went there, and sent me the, yeah, tough to see. The actor continued, "Lived there for 45 years. It's your home. You think you're tough, and then you see that haven't shown my wife yet. I don't know whether I'm going to or not. It's tough." The actor had perspective though. He continued, "A house can be rebuilt, but everything you've gathered over the years, A lifetime actually in America. I came here in 1960. I lived in that whole area of LA for the last 60 years, nearly, and have seen all kinds of wildfires, all kinds of disasters and slides. It's the price we pay for living in this beautiful area. California's a fantastic state. It's one of the most productive states in the nation. It produces more agricultural products than any other state in America. Braden revealed how his childhood overseas during World War II led him to experience sirens almost daily, and he was evacuated to the basement on a regular basis. "I'm kind of used to it," he said. "It brings back some memories, obviously not pleasant ones, but this is nature. This is not man-made." And the Second World War was caused by an Austrian private who had delusions of grandeur, and this is nature talking to us. Braden's co-star, Melissa Claire Egan, revealed she'd lost her new home in the Palisades fire. General Hospital's Cameron Matheson lost his house, and the bold and the beautiful's Jennifer Gareis lost her home. Eric Braden, the iconic star of The Young and the Restless, has provided a chilling glimpse into the devastating Los Angeles wildfire that has forced him to leave his home. Known for his role as Victor Newman, Braden shared an emotional update with fans as he faced the frightening reality of the encroaching flames. Braden took to Instagram to inform his followers about the situation. In a brief video, he revealed the difficult news. "Well, we're going to have to evacuate our house," he said, showing the raging fire near his property. The magnitude of the disaster was evident. "Everyone, I see this beautiful area up in flames. Unbelievable," he added, capturing the dire scene. Despite the grim circumstances, Braden concluded his message with a hopeful note, saying, "God bless you all. Be cool. Bye." His fans quickly responded with messages of support, sending their thoughts and prayers during this challenging time. Braden isn't the only soap star affected by the wildfires. General Hospital actor Cameron Matheson recently shared the heartbreaking news of losing his home to the flames. Fortunately, his family is safe, but the loss has been profound. The fires have had a widespread impact on the entertainment industry, with several cast and crew members from various shows forced to evacuate their homes. Sadly, some have lost everything to the rapidly spreading inferno. According to reports from AP News, the California wildfire has claimed at least 5 lives and destroyed over 1,000 structures, with more than 100,000 residents under evacuation orders. The situation remains critical. Currently, 3 major fires are burning in the region. The Palisades Fire, to the west of Los Angeles. The Eden Fire, north of Pasadena. The Host Fire, in the San Fernando Valley. The combination of strong Santa Ana winds and severe drought conditions has fueled the rapid spread of these fires. As the wildfires continue to wreak havoc, thoughts are with Braden Matheson and all those affected by this tragic event. The resilience and solidarity shown by the community, fans, and fellow industry members provide a beacon of hope in these dark times. At the Abbott mansion, Jack joins Kyle for lunch at the table, where he's working on a work project. His son says he's grateful to be back at Abbott where he belongs. Jack couldn't agree more. Kyle can't believe he came so close to blowing up his life. Jack crows that he turned his life around and came back to them. That's what he wants to focus on. Kyle's grateful. Jack asks about his work and whether he can help. Kyle hands over a proposal for the sunscreen moisturizer that he stole from them when he was at Glissade. At Chancellor, Claire makes notes as Nikki talks. She tells her to make sure marketing takes Abbott off the communications. Claire notices her grandmother is out of sorts. She heard there was a visitor at the ranch from her past. Nikki says it was Ian Ward. He's awful, and she'd hoped to never see him again. Claire says her mother warned her to be on guard. Nikki says that apart from Jordan, no one has tormented her more. She says he's a living nightmare and cannot be trusted. If Claire ever comes across him, she should not engage. One of his worst crimes is preying on young women. I was one of many. I was a teenage when I first met him. Claire and Nikki agree that Ian and Jordan are cut from the same cloth. Jordan walks into Crimson Lights in disguise as Esther is leaving Sharon a frantic voicemail to get in touch. She asks if there is anything she can do to help. Esther explains that the person who owns the place is missing. She can't discuss it, but she's very worried about her. Jordan asks if the police are involved. Does anyone know what happened to her? At Society, Abby seats Danny and Daniel at a table. Daniel tells his dad he wishes he could stay longer. They agree that Sharon going missing is unnerving and discuss the cops boosting Daniel's security detail. At the bar, Tessa tells Abby that Sharon's car was found in the river, but they are trying to think positive. Abby asks if she's had any more asthma attacks. Tessa hasn't, and never felt that way before. She marvels that the one man Maria hates more than anyone saved her. Abby says it's too convenient. With Ian Ward, you can't trust anything. Ian watches through the window as they talk. At Danny's table, Daniel doesn't know what to make of Sharon's disappearance. His father urges him to fly out for his last few shows with Lucy. Daniel balks, but Danny pushes. Meanwhile, Ian walks inside, clutching his Bible, and eavesdrops as Abby tells Tessa that he's a snake whose list of crimes is endless. Tessa can't believe she got sucked into talking to him. Abby feels that what happened to her doesn't make sense. He just happened to be in the right place at the right time to save Mariah's wife's life. Tessa can't disregard him saving her life. Ian shows himself. I'm so glad I was able to save you. Ian tries to chat up Abby and tells Tessa he's kept her in his prayers. She's grateful that he helped her, but she knows his real name and history now and has doubts about his intentions. Ian meant what he said. She and Mariah are blessed with a beautiful family. Tessa reminds him Mariah asked him to stay away from their family, and she has to ask the same. Abby backs her up and says it's her restaurant. He needs to leave and never come back. At Danny's table, Daniel doesn't want to pull Lucy out of school now that she's back in a routine. Danny understands. Daniel would send her on tour if he thought it would help, but he can't be away from her again. At the Abbott mansion, Kyle apologizes to his father for stealing the formula. Jack understands why he lashed out at them and feels Victor provoked him. Kyle did what he thought would endear him to Victor and undermined them. Jack points out he figured out a way to get inside Victor's twisted mind. It's water under the bridge, and they need to move on. Kyle has to ask, did he actually consider taking legal action against him? Diane appears and says Jack didn't, but I did. Kyle's appalled. Diane says she saw it as a way to bring them back to them. Kyle supposes he can't fault her for that. Diane admits she and Jack had opposing views about it and used it to make it seem that their marriage was falling apart. You broke the law, Kyle. Kyle knows, and he apologizes. Jack wants to put it all behind them and explains Kyle's putting the product back where it belongs. They all agree to focus on the future of the family. Diane has something else to discuss as Kyle's mother. She's aware of his relationship with Claire and that she spent the night there. She asks if he's planning to talk to Harrison about this. He should know what's going on between them. At Chancellor, Nikki continues telling Claire about her run-ins with Ian Ward. He nearly destroyed me. She adds that his time in prison emboldened him, and he came back again to terrorize them. He's launched many attacks on Newman and even set fire to the Newman Towers. No one was hurt, but it could have ended very differently. Claire's glad Victor's stepped up security. Nikki says her husband will do anything to get Ian out of their lives, just like he did with Jordan. Nikki compliments Claire's latest report, and the young woman is pleased. I learned from the best. That's you, by the way. Nikki asks her to get them lats from Crimson Lights, so Claire heads out. At Crimson Lights, Esther appreciates Jordan's support, but there's not much they can do. She takes her order for oolong tea, as well as a triple shot Americano to go. Jordan says she'll wait on the patio. Sitting at the table, Jordan looks at photos of Kyle and Claire on her phone and stews. Just then, Claire comes into the coffee house and Jordan hears her greet Esther, who then goes into the kitchen. More, my and ours 2025 to-do list. At Society, Danny and Daniel agree to daily video calls while the tour continue. Daniel thinks it's best he and Lucy try to continue their lives with their new normal. Danny muses, without Heather. He thinks his son is an incredible father. I hope you realize how proud I am of you. At the door, Ian is ushered out by Abby and Tessa. He knows he's done terrible things, but he's willing to work to win back the trust of those he's wronged. Abby calls him a liar. Ian talks about desperately wanting forgiveness from others and wanting a chance to start over. He asks, before he goes, if they've heard anything from Sharon. Tessa says, I'm afraid not. Ian hopes God blesses them both and keeps them safe. With that, he totters out with an evil smirk. Abby warns Tessa not to let him get under her skin. Danny tells Daniel he has to pick up Cricket and head to the airport. He and Daniel embrace as they agree this doesn't get any easier. Daniel's glad to have spent this time with him. Danny urges him to call and keep him posted. They express their love and Danny leaves. At the Abbott mansion, Kyle tells Diane that Harrison adores Claire and will have no problem with their relationship. Diane and Jack worry that he sees her as the nanny and may have hopes of his parents getting back together. Kyle will talk to his son. Jack suggests he do it sooner rather than later. Kyle sees no reason to wait. Diane asks if he and Harrison will stay there. Kyle confirms this is their home. At Crimson Lights, Jordan puts her phone away as she listens to Claire and Esther chat about her working with Nikki at Chancellor. Esther steps away to give Jordan her order. Claire hears Esther say it out loud, and Claire's head snaps up as she realizes it's Jordan's usual. By the time she looks at the patio, Jordan has hustled out the door. After, Esther asks Claire if everything is ok. Claire frowns. That woman, she decides it's nothing and places her order. Esther wants to hear all about her and Kyle. Claire turns back toward the patio and frowns. More, Ian Ward whodunit takes shape. At Society, Abby prepares to leave. She tells Tessa if Ian Ward comes back to call her. After, Daniel and Tessa agree that New Year's is off to a weird start. He admits he's feeling a little sorry for himself. I feel like everyone I love leaves me. Tessa thinks that makes sense under the circumstances. Daniel asks about her asthma attack. Tessa's physically all right. Daniel muses that out of nowhere she couldn't breathe. Tessa can't help but think there's more to what happened. Jordan returns to the motel with the order from Crimson Lights and tells the closed bathroom door, Ian, you won't believe what happened. She saw me. She says they have to move and get to work on this plan. Chop, chop. She keeps calling his name, knocks, and then opens the bathroom door. Realizing he's not there, Jordan muses, so you disappeared. She's irked there's no note. Where are you? Out furthering your own agenda, I assume. When will he start working on her side of the plan? More, Eric Braden loses home to Wildfire. At Chancellor, Claire has just arrived back when she takes a call from Kyle, who asks if she's free later. He wants to talk to her about something. She learns he wants to tell Harrison about their relationship and turns smiley. She will text when she's done for the day. Entering the office, Claire exchanges a glance with Nikki, who senses she's upset. Claire says there was a woman at Crimson Lights who ordered her tea just like Jordan. Nikki is sorry she had to be reminded of her. Claire says it was a bit freaky in that it was exactly the way she orders her. She's sure it's just the news about Ian Ward putting her on edge. Nikki assures her that Victor will deal with Ian and she will never have to face Jordan again. At the Abbott mansion, Jack teases Diane about not telling him Claire spent the night. He guesses Mrs. Martinez is her source. Diane wonders what they think of Claire, given that she's Victor's granddaughter. She prefers her over Audra, but hopes she can handle any challenges from Victor. I do not want Victor to come after our son again. Jack assures her they won't let that happen. He tells her they have to stay positive and they kiss. More, my and our plot points that make no sense. In the motel room, Jordan flashes to telling Claire not to get soft on her. We have waited so long, and we're so very, very close. She remembers Claire telling her she broke her life and they're finished. Jordan recalls telling Claire she chose the wrong side. Crying, Jordan blubbers, "Oh God, Claire, how I've missed you." Standing up and looking out the window. She fumes, still not back, Ian. She muses that maybe she can't trust him to help her. Maybe she should take matters with Claire into her own hands. Young and the Restless next week spoilers find Claire Newman close to catching Jordan Howard during the week of January 13 to 17, 2025. Take a look at the latest spoilers for the CBS soap opera. Young and the Restless next week spoilers. Claire Newman catches Jordan Howard. Next week, Young and the Restless spoilers see Claire Newman once again at Crimson Lights at the same time as Jordan Howard. This time, she hears her voice when Jordan says thank you for her order. Claire recognizes the voice immediately and stops in her tracks. "Jordan?" she asks, stunned. Jordan freezes in a panic, then quickly hustles out. Claire is still frozen in place. But next week, we might see her follow Jordan and realize she's out of prison and back in Genoa City. Currently, Claire is in a wonderful place on Young and the Restless. She has the life she's always dreamed of. But once she finds out Jordan is still after her, she might spiral out of control. She's terrified of her psycho great aunt, and with good reason because she wants Claire back on her side. And if the villainess doesn't get what she wants, she's going to get revenge on her. My and our spoilers. Sharon tries to escape. While Jordan Howard, Colleen Zink, dodges Claire Newman, Haley Aaron, her prisoner, Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, tries desperately to escape from the sewer tunnels. Because she's been drugged by Jordan and Ian Ward, Ray Wise, she's hallucinating Cameron Kirsten, Lyndon Ashby again. They try to figure out who is doing this to her and how to get out of the sewer. Next week, on Young and the Restless, Sharon Newman frantically searches for something she can use to free herself. Then, she spots an iron rod. She inches close to it, and if she can get her hands on it, she could very well escape next week. Young and the Restless spoilers. Adam pushes Chelsea. Elsewhere, on My and R, Adam Newman keeps trying to convince Chelsea Lawson to move onto the Newman ranch with him. This week, he makes his case by asking Chelsea if they're living under the same roof at the ranch helps their son, Connor Newman, shouldn't they at least consider it? Of course, she'll do anything to help her son, so she will likely give in to Adam's request. No doubt that's what he's counting on. My and R is captivating next week. Young and Restless has a real issue with long, boring, and unnecessary conversations that needs to be addressed. Scenes are giving filler vibes way too often. That said, this week we had some drama, thanks to Jordan and Ian, but there was at least one major plot point that we just weren't buying. Sharon struggles. As tired as we all became of Cameron and his bloody shirt, it was undeniably fun having him reappear this week with Sharon in peril. He wasn't a whole lot of help, but he did conveniently leave a black crowbar laying around with her reach when he left. I'm not sure the story will be as gripping if she frees herself, but I'm here for the ride. That said, some things just don't make sense. Like Jordan being able to heft Sharon's unconscious body in and out of her car, the motel, and the sewers on her own, and Nate's new brother. Finally, we got to see Damien, and man, is he easy on the eyes. They're trying to write him as mysterious, but many fans were just dazed and confused by all that Monte Cristo dialogue. By week's end, we were all thinking what Audra told Nate, Just get on with it and tell him who you are. That said, I'm interested to see how Damien's going to fit into Genoa City and who he'll be hooked up with. In related, it's been nice to see a softer side of Audra. The blah and the boring. There are way too many long, unnecessary conversations happening on Young and Restless these days. Who needed half of an entire episode of Lily and Abby worrying to Devin about Nate possibly hiring Damien, or Jack and Diane rehashing their recent past with Kyle? Chelsea droning on with advice to Billy that will fall on deaf ears? Keep it. In fact, unless something drastically different is going to happen in this time around, Billy needs a backburner moment. It's been too long with the whining and man pain with nothing changing. All of his storylines in recent years have had the same script, just different scene partners. As for the preview with Adam trying to get Chelsea to move in with him, his guilt has convinced him that getting back with his ex is what's best for Connor, and his appeal seems to reveal that. This explains the lack of romantic energy, but doesn't bode well if we have to watch weeks/months of them cohabitating. Please don't base an entire plot around Tessa being snowed by Ian Ward, because it's just too unbelievable. Maria's wife is one of the most street-savvy characters on the canvas, and even if she wasn't, she's one of the most loyal. Once Maria told her who Ian was and what he did to her and Nikki, she'd hate him instantly and become protective of her wife. The dumbed-down, wide-eyed, but he saved my life, is not cutting it because it's so obvious Ian caused Tessa's out-of-the-blue breathing crisis in the first place. Why else would he have been standing outside the door waiting and conveniently carrying an inhaler? Come on. Claire's already onto Jordan and crosses paths with her again in the preview. But it seems to me that if Victor's men are watching Ian Ward and his motel room, they are the ones who will identify her first. It's not like they don't know who she is and her history with Victor. If nothing else, they'd alert him that Ian's not alone, right? It's not the only thing that doesn't add up in this story. I have some issues with Nick. It just doesn't make sense that he'd try to convince Faith that Sharon had failed to show up for New Year's because she decided to take some time for herself. After the rant he went on a week ago about her being in danger from the real killer, not to mention Ian showing up, I don't think that's where his mind would go. Make it make sense. When Sharon's car was found in the river, Nick finally snapped out of it and went all caveman as he confronted Ian at the motel. But if Nick thought Ian was responsible for Sharon's disappearance, why wouldn't he have searched the room and checked behind the closed door? I guess it would have moved the story along too quickly if he'd had discovered Jordan. You just have to laugh. Claire's not the only one who's had a bit of a makeover. Can we talk about Nikki's new look? I was kinda partial to her softer hairstyle, but it was her outfit that garnered all the attention this week. In the last rant, I suggested they were styling her more like Catherine now that she's taken over Chancellor, but fans were getting a totally different vibe from her black and gold pantsuit. Janet Jackson, Moira Rose, they're not wrong.